It's so delayed on that.
Yeah.
Alright, hey, back one. Okay. Alright, hey everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another week of the Meal Prep Live. This week I'm going to be doing a chicken burrito bowl. So I'm going to be doing pulled chicken and black beans, broccoli sprouts, and jasmine rice. And then later I'll probably add some salsa to it when I heat it up. We're also going to be discussing some myths that we will get to later on. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the chicken in because that's going to take maybe like 3 to 4 hours on high. So chicken breast I have from last week actually, and it's a little bit frozen still, but that's fine. So you're just going to put it in your crock pot. And I have 5 breasts, but one is like kind of small. And this is for meal prepping for the week for my lunches. Alright, so chicken is in the pot. I'm gonna add some chicken broth. It's a little bit, it's low sodium.
So be aware of low sodium stuff though, because some of it tends not to be that low in sodium.
What's that?
So it's best to find things that say no added salt on it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This says
So how many
less
milligrams
sodium.
in there?
570.
The whole can.
2 servings.
Yeah. So
Dun,
that's
dun,
over
dun.
1,000.
Woo! Well, good thing I'm not using the whole
sodium
can.
in one can.
Alright, anyways, so I'm gonna use about half the can.
I like heart attacks, don't you?
I love heart attacks. Heart attacks are fun.
High blood pressure.
It's a bit echoey.
Really? Okay.
We can fix that.
So we got the chicken and the broth. I'm just gonna rinse my hands. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some spice to the chicken. I'm gonna do kosher salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and pepper. And I'm gonna do about a teaspoon of each. If I can find the teaspoon. Here it is, okay. Alright, so pepper, 1 teaspoon. Just sprinkle it on. And don't.
What are we doing?
Alright, garlic powder. 1 teaspoon. And onion powder. And you know what? I'm not going to add the salt because there's plenty in it with the broth. Alright, kosher salt. I mean, wait, I just said no kosher. God.
Could I add more salt? Nice.
Hello.
I was like, I'm going to add no salt. Pour salt. Alright. It's so hard, like, talking and doing this. Okay. Alright. Teaspoon of each. And that is it. So you're going to do 6 to 8 hours on low. Or if you don't have as much time, you can do 3 to 4 hours on high. Alright. Just going to put the lid on. Put it on high. Alright, chicken's done. Next, I'll do the beans. So the beans, just black beans, got them from Wegmans. All I do is just rinse them. That's it. Very easy.
So why do you rinse them?
I rinse them because they're in this, I'm not sure if it's water, but they're in this gunky stuff that does not look
Do you suppose rinsing them also may help wash away some of that extra sodium?
Yes.
Yes, it does. But also the beans itself will absorb the sodium over time, so there is still some in it. But
Oh, yeah.
it is good to wash them off.
Yeah.
It does rinse them off.
All right, so I'm gonna do 2 cans of black beans. Rinse off the gunk.
Bean gunk.
Bean gunk with sodium. No one wants that. So I just have it in a colander. I'm just rinsing it off.
Hey, WWE fan 2050, thank you so much for following us on our Twitch channel. We really appreciate it.
Woohoo! All right. So I rinsed the beans, and I'm just gonna let those sit because they just need a drip. And the rice. So for 5 meals, I'm doing a 1.5 cups of rice. And for every 1 serving of rice, you do 2 parts, or 1 part rice, 2 parts water. So I'm going to do 3 cups of water.
Aw, B Hoover 19, thank you so much for following us on our Twitch channel.
So for those of you on my Instagram, you can also follow us on the YouTube channel and our Twitch. So we have a camera coming down at my working space, so it's a better view if you want to see more of what I'm doing.
There's also a disembodied head in the top right corner.
Oh, so you are up there? Oh.
I did, I put it back.
All right, get the rice going.
Ooh, hey, we have a fashion question for you.
Oh,
Yes, a
jeez.
fashion question. So, we have somebody curious about what pants you're using.
What
I believe
pants?
they mean yes. What are you wearing?
Oh, what am I
What
wearing? Okay, well,
Oh boy.
this sweatshirt I got from
I like
Savers.
that sweatshirt. Is it new?
I got it from Savers, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Savers is like a, oh, I'm sorry, I'm like looking at my thing. Savers is a secondhand store, but I got this from there, and then I got my leggings from Walmart. What a fashion statement.
All right.
Take notes, guys. Alright, anyways. The rice is, I'm sorry, you don't put the lid on yet. So the rice, stir, once it boils, you put it on simmer and put the lid on it. Also with my bowls, I'm doing broccoli sprouts, and that is pretty much it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
I'm waiting for the chicken. So the chicken's gonna be about 3 to 4 hours, and then after that, I'm going to separate with forks, 2 forks, just to make it shredded. If you guys want, you can add additional spices to that. The rice, I'm just waiting for that to cook. Got the sprouts. The beans are just drying a little bit, and then later I'll probably add some salsa to it, maybe some avocado.
yeah, so you could actually make your own beans too from the dry beans. I was just thinking. And
Yeah.
so what do you do with the sprouts? How do you prepare those?
So the sprouts are already prepared. They're already ready. So I'm just gonna put them in the bowls. But I like them because they're a little crunchy and they're very nutrient dense. So that's why I like these. And they're broccoli sprouts, so they're cruciferous, and I have issues with my skin. So cruciferous vegetables help with acne.
So those are your
take-
broccoli, cauliflower.
Yep, broccoli, cauliflower, all that jazz. So yeah, that was quick. So, should we go through?
Is that it? We're all done? Wow.
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, it's all just waiting for things to finish.
So this is a really good example of just how quick and easy Crockpot meals can be.
Yeah.
I mean, quick and easy being the operative word here. As you guys see, we just finished that prep in about 10 minutes flat.
Yep.
yeah.
10 minutes flat.
Of
And guess
course,
what?
I mean, the chicken, once that's done, you have to spend a lot of time shredding it with 2 forks, so that's going to take a little bit. And then also preparing each container takes more time, but it's really not
You should post a video on your Instagram of you when it's done.
Yeah,
shredding
definitely.
it and
Yeah,
grating
yeah.
it. So
Shredding,
we're gonna
yep.
see.
Sure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a nutrition question about avocado.
Okay.
So, quick question. How do you deal with the avocado not browning during the week once you cut it? I've got a good answer for this one if nobody else does.
I mean, I personally just put it in a bag.
How
in the
about
fridge,
does
and that's-
tinfoil
but I eat it the next
oxidation?
day.
Does tinfoil?
Tinfoil does absolutely help, but here's a little trick that a lot of people don't know. So once you've cut your avocado, make sure that you leave the pit in the half that you're
I
trying
do
to
that
preserve.
sometimes.
Very
too.
true.
Yes.
So you
I
leave
have
the
it
pit
all.
in, wrap it up in your tinfoil, put it away in the refrigerator, and it will absolutely delay that browning and kind of rotting vegetative process.
Right. Good.
Other than that, so since we finished up the prep, guys, we're going to move into discussing some fitness myths and myths in general. So, in ancient times, we told stories, right? You know, we couldn't explain something fantastical or amazing happened, so we would make up these wild, lavish stories to explain them, and you know, they made sense. So, for example, let's look back at some ancient Greek mythology. There was this giant, bright ball in the sky, and every day it would go from one side of the sky to the other. I don't know how to explain that. Must be the god Apollo riding his chariot across the sky. Who else but Apollo? So, things like that are kind of how myths got started. You know, we couldn't explain something amazing, so we made something up. Fitness is no exception to that rule. We couldn't explain something, or for some reason, things just got made up along the way. And you'd think, with all of the science and information and technology that we have at our fingertips now, we'd be able to debunk these myths without them still being so pervasive. But unfortunately, they really, really are. So, Danielle, why don't you share with us one of your myths, one myth that you've heard before that you know to be absolute bunk?
So, what I hear all the time is you should not eat past 6 or 7 or a specific time because it will add fat, or because when you go to sleep that you're not expending energy, so it's going to be stored as fat. All of that BS.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. That's one that I've heard time and time again as well.
All the
You know,
time.
being a trainer, people was like, "Oh, you know, what time should I stop eating?" Like, well, what time are you not hungry at? I mean, people are like, "Wow, is it really that simple?" I said, yeah. At the end of the day, when it comes down to what you should and shouldn't eat, what time of day you should or shouldn't eat, your body knows better than you do. Your body knows better than some guru on the internet who told you not to eat after 7 o'clock at night. If you're hungry,
Right.
you should eat. That is your body telling you it needs nutrition and sustenance.
But also be able to distinguish between hunger and a craving.
Yes. And emotional eating as well.
And
So
emotional
mindful
eating.
eating, right?
Oh,
So being aware
it's
of
like this
Yeah.
topic is coming full circle to
I
something
know,
we
right?
discussed in episode 1.
Yes.
Ah.
But yes.
All right, Victoria, coming from the far side of the table, what's one of your favorite myths that you've encountered?
All right, so gluten-free is a healthier diet for you, which is very much not true because if you're eating anything that's processed gluten-free products like bread or baked goods, there's more sugar and salt and additives to make it seem like it's mimicking gluten. And that same thing goes for anything that's like a meat substitute. Any type of substitute is gonna have just more additives, and following a gluten-free diet is not healthier for you. It's actually less healthy
Because of the gluten-free options.
because of unless you really follow it and do not even eat any of those processed gluten-free things, which would leave you with rice and
Almost
potatoes.
like a paleo.
Yeah, very minimal things, but yeah, you can do it right, but
So it's interesting you bring that one up. One of my favorite things too is similar in that same respect. You know, the whole gluten-free is better for you. Fat-free being better for you.
Low
same
fat.
concept, same
I
concept.
love that one. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It's
Yeah.
the same concept. They replace the fat with something else that 9 times out of 10 is actually a lot less healthy for you than the fat was to begin with.
Yep. That's a great point.
All right. So I've got one that I really enjoy. You can turn fat into muscle. This is one that I've heard as a trainer so many times. People saying, hey, how do I turn this fat into muscle? And, you know, I never want to laugh at somebody, honestly, when they present me with a myth that they've heard forever. Because you never want to make somebody feel bad about believing something, because chances are they probably got it from what they considered to be a fairly reputable source at the time. But I will tell you, from a scientific standpoint, you don't turn fat into muscle. That's not how the body processes things. That's not how it all works. Muscle tissue is grown through a series of providing it the correct amino acids and protein building blocks. You know, it takes specific types of resistance training to induce the growth in the tissue. And fat, what we tend to do is we tend to consume that fat. Our body will break it down in this process of resistance training, proper dieting, things like that, and you'll actually get rid of those broken down fat cells and tissues through a couple different methods, which I haven't fully explored yet, but believe it or not, when you exhale, some of those broken down fat molecules actually come out with your breath.
Ketones.
And that is not a myth.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a myth.
Also, how about shrinking fat cells? Can you lose fat cells or do they shrink?
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, what do you think?
They shrink.
They shrink. You can never get rid of
Isn't the
fat
only way
cells.
like lipo?
The only way that you can add to those fat cells if you eat trans fat, which is not allowed in our food supply anyway.
It was banned in 2018.
and that's something that you can't even get rid of at all.
Yeah.
So what's another myth you got for us, Danielle?
Another myth. That there are specific exercises for men and for women.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That's a real good one.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times a woman has come to me for training, and they've said, "Oh, I just want to tone up. I just want to
that
tone
word.
up. I don't want to lift heavy weights because I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to look like a man."
Yep.
And I look at them and I quite frankly I say, listen, unless you have a Y chromosome or you produce an unnatural amount of testosterone, you will never look like a man lifting heavy weights. Believe it or not, heavy resistance training can help women achieve more of that womanly figure, that hourglass shape, because it starts to broaden the shoulders ever so slightly. The waist takes on a narrower look, and the hips start to grow a little bit because the gluteus muscles, the hip muscles, and the leg muscles all start to grow under that heavy resistance training as well. So it's actually counter to what people think is heavy resistance training will help women look more like a fit woman. And same thing for men. Well, it won't make you look like a fit woman, it'll make you look like a fit man. But it has to do with how our bodies build muscle tissue in specific areas. Like, for example, men, it's a lot easier for us to build upper body muscle tissue. For women, it's a little bit more difficult. But that being said, women actually excel at building lower body muscle tissue compared to men. You know, a lot of that stems back to some of the ancient times and our genetic coding as we evolved and moved forward and figured out just how to survive in such a crazy world. Do you have another good myth for us, Victoria?
Yes. So when you're eating out at a restaurant or takeout food, salad is your best option.
Oh, salad being the best option. You know, I've heard that one before, and I used to believe that one too myself.
No.
So why is salad not always the best option?
So I actually didn't know this either until a few years ago when we compared the calories and fat of a salad to a burger at Uno's, and it was like 800 calories to 1,000 calories for the salad that has dressing on it, especially your creamy dressings that are really, those are high in fat and calories. Croutons, cheese, all that stuff, and it adds up. It adds up. So
Absolutely.
it is not your healthiest choice.
So if you were going to try to order a salad and make it a healthier option, I would imagine some things you could do is order your dressing on the side as opposed to being right on the salad. You know, if you can, see if you can get the croutons on the side, your cheese is on the side. So that way you've got a little bit more control over how much you're actually putting into that salad.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one of my favorite ones. Sports drinks are healthy.
Yes, that's a good one.
I love those Gatorade commercials, Powerade commercials. They're like, yeah, you know, drink this beverage. It's so healthy for you. Well, all right, here's the thing. If you're an athlete, or if you're a weekend warrior, and you're playing, you know, your sport or your pickup sport, having a beverage that is high in sugar and high in electrolytes is actually really, really good. It's really awesome. It replaces the electrolytes that you're burning through your sweat, and that added sugar in the drink is going to give you a little bit of carbohydrates to use as some very readily available energy. So here's the deal. Your body's going to break down food into sugar to process it and use it as energy. So when you ingest sugar, your body doesn't have to do too much work with that to make it a usable energy source. It's already pretty chemically close to the same thing. So that's why, you know, if you eat a bunch of sugar, you get that sugar rush and then that crash. But the same thing goes for your sports beverages. If you're playing a basketball game and you start drinking your Gatorade, that sugar is going to be a readily available fuel source for your body to start consuming. So no, sports drinks are not healthy for you, and if you're pounding them while watching a marathon on Netflix, you're going to be doing you're going to be doing disservice to yourself as opposed to using them what they're intended for. So ideally, in general, I'd say just stay away from them. But if you need that little pick-me-up during your game on the weekend, absolutely, you do want to look for that nice quick sugar source.
Definitely.
So what else do we got? Does anybody else got some good myths?
I have one that I used to believe in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one that I used to believe in was, in order to lead a healthy a healthy lifestyle and to achieve the physique you want, you have to be all or nothing. So that being said, that you have to eat 100% clean and 100% always be on your diet. You can't skip the gym. So I had a very intense mentality, and it took a while for me to break free from that and realize that that isn't true. That with balance, it's actually better because you can achieve longevity with that goal.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What about you, Victoria? Have you had any
Alright.
fit myths that have directly affected your life that you believe?
Yeah, so I started following a gluten-free diet, not because I have celiac disease or anything, but because it was bothering me. I think about almost 7 years ago.
Really?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't know for the first maybe year or two that soy sauce is made mostly of wheat. That is the first and most abundant ingredient in it.
They call it soy sauce when they should be calling it wheat sauce.
They do make gluten-free, and they do actually start using it a lot at like hibachi places and sushi places. They do have the gluten-free version, but it's mostly wheat. Yep. Got me for a while.
It's a crazy one.
Ah.
I actually didn't know that when you said that the other day.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No, I
that's the
didn't know
first
that.
ingredient.
No,
Believe it or
it's-
not, I didn't know soy sauce was made mostly out of
Really?
wheat.
There you go. Hey!
You got us.
I thought
So the one that got me, and this one got me early on in life and followed me for a very, very long time. For those of you who don't know, I lived most of my young adult life and younger child life as a very heavy-set individual. And when I finally kind of started my journey to lose weight, I was obsessed with six-pack abs. You know, you saw them plastered all over the place everywhere.
Yeah.
So I believed that if I did hundreds and hundreds of crunches every single day, eventually I would have a six-pack ab.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to tell you that's not the case. You cannot crunch your way to a six-pack. In fact, you cannot do a million core exercises of all variants to a six-pack.
Yeah.
Now, I need to pause for just a second there because you should and you absolutely want to develop a very strong, balanced core. You want to do lots of different variations in your core exercises to help promote that stability in all the different motions and movements that the torso goes through in relation to the hips. Now that being said, the true way to get a six-pack to appear if you're doing all the right strength training and core development, is you have to have a low enough body fat percent. And you can really only achieve that through a combination of proper diet and exercise. And what you do in the kitchen makes up about 80% of that.
It does.
Now, here's where this myth actually caused me some issues that I'm still dealing with in my adult life. All those crunches caused me to develop my core in a very uneven way. The top half is very strong and it tends to pull my torso in towards it. It's taken me years to undo the neurological damage I have caused by convincing my brain that those are the most active core muscles. Just trying to get some things like the transverse abdomen to activate has been an absolute nightmare for me. And I'd say probably 2 years of very specific training to undo the damage. I'm still having to really take my time and focus on what I'm doing so I don't end up going into that same mentality where I just start trying to draw the top half of my rib cage into my spine. So, that being said, if any of you out there find yourself trying to do millions of crunches to get that six-pack ab, I really hope that what I've told you today will help you see the error of your ways. And if you do want to work on a nice, developed, all-around good core, please feel free to drop me a direct message and I would love to discuss that with you and give you some ideas on where you can start. Other than that, that's my myth.
Yep, that's a good one.
So,
I think we had good ones.
How about you guys out there in viewerland? Have you ever encountered myths or know of any myths or maybe don't even know it's necessarily a myth?
Or if you have any myths that you think are myths or don't think are myths.
Actually,
we can debunk.
While we're taking a little bit of time to let you guys let us know if you've got any myths you want us to talk about, I've got a great question here from Pure Tony. What is the best way to strengthen your core properly? So, the best way to strengthen your core properly is to use a dynamic range of exercises. What I mean by that is, you want to do exercises that hold your core in a very stable position, like the plank, but you also want to use exercises that are going to get the lower half of your body interacting with your core, as well as the upper half of your body. So for example, exercises like leg lifts, leg raises, knee raises, various tuck exercises that you can do from a sitting position, those are going to engage a lot of the lower abdominal muscles. Cat and cow pose for yoga fanatics out there, those are really good for also getting you to develop and just be a little bit more in tune with how your core moves and functions with your hips, rotating in each direction. You also don't want to ignore the core muscles of your back, because the core is oftentimes mistaken and confused for just being the abdomen. The core...
Corset.
I like that.
Corset.
You think of the core more as a corset, and it encompasses the entire torso from belly button to lower back. So you also want to make sure that you are strengthening and developing those lower back muscles to resist force, because those muscles are more directly used for just kind of holding your spine stable. That being said, some things that you can encounter that you always want to be careful of when you're doing core exercises or abdominal exercises, you want to be aware and be cautious of how much your lower back is flexing and moving, because again, those muscles are designed to resist force. So, I just joined. I missed the question about myths.
So how can we rewatch?
So, New Me 29 and anybody else who wants to watch again everything that we did, if you head to our YouTube channel or if you head to our Twitch TV channel, you'll be able to watch an entire rerun of today's episode and the other episodes that we've done before. But if you're just curious what the question about myths was, we were actually fielding it out to all of you guys. You know, do you have any myths that you know of or you've heard of that you'd like us to discuss and debunk for you? So we're going to hang out for like another minute or two, see if any last minute questions come through.
Sure.
But if not, that's our show for today, guys. We discussed just how quick and easy Crockpot meals can be for the week. We banged through that prep in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
It's easy.
Other than that, one thing that I do want to make you guys aware of, we are starting to build our course catalog on our website at mybetteruniversity.com. Currently, the only course that we have open and available is our Clean and Lean Challenge. It's a 6-week adventure and where we take you on a magical trip where we educate you and teach you how to eat whole foods, how to find whole foods, and how to discover just what is processed that may be lurking in your kitchen. So really it's just kind of a 6-week adventure on how to clean up your diet and get in more touch with your diet. This isn't a specific diet, this isn't a specific meal plan. Now that being said, we have also provided a meal plan and a grocery list with this challenge for people who feel like they need a little bit extra hand-holding.
Yeah.
We're not trying to baby you through this process, but we have outlined something that you can use for now as a very cut and paste method, or as time goes on, you can start to use it as more of a guideline and a rubric, so you don't have to follow it exactly.
Yep.
Looks like we do have a couple questions coming in. Let's check this out. Pure Tony, I love Mythbuster episodes, so helpful. Awesome. Hey, if you guys really did enjoy this, we'll absolutely do another myth-busting episode sometime in the future.
I think it's cool.
They're fun,
I
yeah.
love debunking myths.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
my favorite. So, we got a new question. Whole grains, which ones are good? And does it... Does the process work for diabetics?
The process, the
I believe
Clean and Lean
I
Challenge?
believe they're referring to the Clean and Lean Challenge. Does it work for
Yes,
diabetics?
so I think that, so the Clean and Lean Challenge comes with a meal plan that I created, and of course I'm here for support for any type of disease state that you
What are
guys
you?
have, and I'm a dietitian.
Yes, so that's
I
another
can
important thing to
provide
bring
some
up.
support for people that have different needs, and I can modify things for you to fit with it. I think the Clean
Yeah.
and Lean Challenge can work well for anybody,
Absolutely.
as long as we're here to help support you guys.
So that's the other big thing that I forgot to mention. The platform that we use to run our courses, it allows us to be in contact with you constantly and you in contact with us. So if you have questions, you just drop it right there in the application. We're pretty good about answering very quickly. We have our dietitian on staff, Victoria. You've got a trainer at your disposal as well, and a very knowledgeable fitness guru and life coach, Danielle.
Meal prepper.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got a really good team here.
We do.
and we like to think of Better University as not your typical experience. It's an educational experience, and we want to help you learn. We don't want to just say, hey, do this, it'll change your life. No, we want to say, hey, learn this. Learn how to apply it to your life
Exactly.
and take control. You know, don't be a victim to just existing. Go out of your way to exist with purpose. Figure out what foods work well for you. Figure out what training regimens work well for you. Figure out your body, unlock the secrets, and crush it.
And also, we all have individual experiences of the loss of control in certain situations, but they're
Yes.
all so different. So
That
that's
is
why it's
very
really
true,
cool, because
too.
we can relate to all of you, because we have all that different experience.
You may
Yeah.
see some fit individuals in front of you, but our journeys were anything but easy.
Yep.
Nope.
We had our own obstacles to overcome.
Yep.
We had trials, tribulations, finding out myths were in fact false and believing them for longer than we should
Yes,
have.
very true. That is very true. But now we share with you.
But hey, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Thank you for joining us. We've been having a lot of fun doing this show, and we're really looking forward to continuing
Yes.
to do more of this in the future. Every Sunday, 11 to 12. Well, 11 o'clock show
Yeah,
time, depending
It was
on what
quick
we're
ones.
prepping and what the topic is.
Right.
Sometimes we'll go to an hour, sometimes it'll be 20 minutes, sometimes 36 minutes.
There you go.
So it'll all be a little bit different every time.
And-
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and also if you guys want to see, or if you have any questions about my final meal prep, obviously it's not finished right now. I'll post it on my Instagram, and if you have any questions, just ask me. But yeah, I'll be sure to show you the process of shredding the chicken
Ooh, that'll
as
be
well,
Yes.
because I mean I can explain it, but it's nice to see how I actually shred it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, all right.
Have
Thank
a good
you,
one,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.